I would like to procure the bag.
I wanna be a rich bitch. Penthouse doorman, money, 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 rich bitch. Hey, give me that bag. Rich bitch.
Yes, you're so rich.
Pay me.
Already.
From the get.
From the
Oh,
jump.
boy.
I'm trying to be respectful of your time.
You're great. You're great. I love it. No, I came on. It's like you're being recorded. I was like, oh, work. Okay, good
Oh,
thing
yeah.
she got her face. No, I'm just kidding.
Right,
I
I
don't
know,
make
right? Like if you were topless and your titties out,
Like-
like edit it down. We famously don't edit, so like.
Yeah, I know. Well,
oh man, well, it's always
what
a
it
first.
love
How
that.
are you?
So
How are you? What's going
I'm
on?
just having a good time here in New York City. Woo!
There you are, flying high above the great city of the New Yorks.
New York City. How are you? Oh my gosh, it's like today's already cuckoo cuckoo. I can't.
Yeah,
How are
I
you?
mean, I'm exhausted. You wore me
Yeah.
out this weekend with all
Sorry.
of the going outs. It's totally okay. It was my choice. I'm glad I went. I had fun. But I had so many plans for yesterday to like go out. I was gonna take the ferry down to Rockaway and just like have a fake cruise vacation moment on like the New York City ferry, and I didn't do it. I didn't leave my apartment. I barely left my
Oh,
couch. I
love that.
essentially stayed in bed till 5 p.m. and then watched
Oh,
watched a bunch of Succession.
oh my God. Okay.
I
So
just
spoilers
finished
to anyone.
season 2.
You just finished season 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I thought I was in 3 already. I was not.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like you're not, because you kept saying like this, I'm not gonna say out loud, an incident that happened. I go, I feel like that's early. I feel like we're not.
Yeah. So that was my
Okay.
bad. But because I'm not
Okay,
really
cool.
paying attention, I'm just letting them play.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the end of season 2 into season 3 was like but so good.
So guys, that
kind of saw
show,
it coming.
the deeper you get into that show, the more you're just like, my God, they really spent the time on this.
They really
the writing
did.
is brilsies, and the way that they wrote it just flows incredibly. The world is so crazy and interesting.
Yeah, and like also it kind of feels like they've gone nowhere. Like they as far as like the big question has gone absolutely nowhere.
Mhm.
But so many other things have happened around them that it almost feels like you're like, when is the plot going to pick up? Like, when is this going to be answered?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, this is a very long 4-season arc of what the answer to that is. But holy shit, when you're watching it, you're like, all of these things are just happening, but nothing has happened with like the crux of it. It's this very weird like headspace that I'm in watching this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel like it's very true to form. It's like things are, 1 minute they're going to make this deal and it's going to work out. Then that gets switched and it turns into this, or, but in terms of like interpersonal relationships, so much shit happens and changes, and everybody.
Oh my God. And like
so much changes.
Shiv is such a badass. And like Roman in Turkey was just like, ah.
Yeah, there's just so much. Like, I want to rewatch because you see them, because you feel like maybe it's similar, but then when you look back at season 1 versions of them, there's actually a big difference between where they're at, how they act. It's actually very interesting, but it's almost like an insidious, slow burn in a way.
Yeah.
Although I do feel like each episode, like 5 things happen, where they're like, this is what we're going to do. Oops, that thing got bought.
Just kidding.
Okay, now we're going to do this. Okay, now we're going to do
never
that.
mind.
Blah, 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 oh shit. Okay. Because that's like so true to life of these people. I mean, that's why Roger Ailes, is it like his widow was like, or not widow, his woman he was like divorcing and they literally sent a letter to the show Succession to be like, don't use any of our divorce, don't use any of our stuff, because they feel like this is so true to their crazy billionaire life that these people are just like tapping them and figuring out plot lines from them. But that's what I mean, is like, it seems like it's so on the nose for like what people like this are and what they feel and how they act. It's like that, it's like crazy feeling of like, I don't think they even know what being a person is at all.
Yeah.
And
I heard a really funny or interesting commentary on that about them not knowing how to be people. It's because when you're of that class, you don't have to associate with people.
No.
Because you have a car that takes you to wherever you're going. That's probably a place that normal people can't go. You have your private planes. You have all the other. You don't interact with people.
Anyway.
Right. So you don't know how people think, feel, interact, do anything.
Yeah. And so everything's like you're a meat suit. Like you're just like, okay. So people like that, right? Buzzwords, synergy, da da da
Yeah.
da, let's go. And you're like, wait, no, people like just want to be able to like afford things and eat and like be people and like
Right.
but they are just like, I am also people, I am people. And you're like, wow, it's just so crazy to see, especially like a woman in that state and what that means, Siobhan, as opposed to how she has to be, whatever her front is or her reality is. Like she has to be very hard. She has to be very, and then Kendall's like, yo, 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 bag in the wind. Roman is cuckoo, God bless them. And then what's his face? The oldest brother. I can't remember his name. I always am just like
Connor.
Connor. Oh, Connor.
Also cuckoo.
Oh my
Like,
God.
it's so funny. Like the idea, I love the line where Rowan was like,
The line.
do you really think that that's a good idea? Going from like to the president of the United States after having done nothing. Like it was,
And he's like,
yeah.
yeah,
Like, okay.
sure.
No,
Yeah,
it's so
many
wild.
Yeah, there's so many weird things that mirror what you've heard about like Army Hammer's family or like all this stuff. Like you see, it's really a
Yeah.
great
The
investigation of
Murdochs.
that. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
crazy.
The Vanderbilts.
Yeah, I'm loving it though. It's one of those things. I'm always late to the party on all these things, and it's one of those things that was always on the radar. And I was like, yeah, okay, like everyone says how good it is. I'll watch it one day. And then I just decided to. So here we are.
Here we are.
The
On my side of
Succession
the
Fangirl podcast.
Yeah, I'm such a well off cam. I want to talk to you about it because there's just so much to talk about. But
Yeah,
when you
for sure.
finish it, it's just gonna be.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
know,
You and me and Mike need to have like a sit down.
We'll just sit down and just
Yeah, I'm into it. Let's do it.
Okay, done. But okay, fine. We're gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I'm actually watching for the first time finally. My friend who was visiting this weekend, Alicia, kind of got us into Only Murders in the Building.
It's so good.
It's so good. We're on we binged all season 1 and now we're about halfway through season 2. And I really do enjoy it. I think it's really interesting. It feels like it'll be lighthearted. And then there's moments where you're like, damn. And then there's moments where you're like, and we're back to the lighthearted realness.
I'm surprised you hadn't watched this before. I feel like in my brain, I feel like it's something that you would have liked.
Totally. I think the problem is life is too crazy and I didn't have time, but
Totally.
I just think that I just didn't.
That's like everything. Like I want to watch Billions. I want to watch
The White Lotus. Haven't watched it.
Oh my God, you'll love that. Holy shit.
Yellow Jackets. I mean, there's things I haven't seen at all that I really need to see, but I have seen some of the ones that are the most actor decorated, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the successions of it all, where you're like every single person is nominated, and I get it. You know what I mean? So I think my problem is because of the SAG Awards. I had to be like, what do? I have to focus on the ones that are pretty much like the actors are winning a lot of awards, because if I don't, I just don't have any time and my voting will be disingenuous.
Yeah.
Now that I've added myself and seen The White Lotus, then I probably already, everyone's like, she is disingenuous. She didn't watch The White Lotus, but
I mean, for real though, it's like season 1 is good. Season 2 is real good.
But to be real, the Succession crew always wins. So it's just like, I've seen everything about Succession. So I felt okay voting. I was like, well, I'd vote for her anyway. So
fair. Yeah.
Sarah Snook can get it. There we go. Sarah Snook. Hey, girl. Yeah, no, but it's been really fun. I really like the show. I think it's really smart and interesting. It took me a minute to get used to certain characters and their acting. And I was like, and then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's like, it's
Tom.
the vibe.
Like Tom was like immediately like, you're in a different show. Like what are you doing? But then you get used to it and you're like, oh, now I see what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're definitely. And he's actually like, that's what's so brilliant about Tom is because he's such, and I was actually talking about Only Murders in the Building where I have some acting.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but that's cool. Either way, Tom is a fish out of water and he plays that well because he's from middle class. I mean, you think about everyone in that show is from a different lifestyle. And here she is with someone who is from middle America, who has worked his way up, who's had to work his way up, and how that is a fish out of water experience. And he does feel like he is in him and Greg are like in another show. It's great.
Well,
we need
that. And also how interesting that he like gloms onto Greg and beats him up probably in a similar way that he was when he first got there too. But
Correct.
2 Murders in the Building, I know what you're talking about because the Selena Gomez of it all really bugged me in the beginning. And I was like, oh no, how did this happen? But now I get it. And it's like, okay, cool. This fits.
Oh yeah. Okay. because I don't want to throw any shade, and it's just like, but as an actor, you spend a lot of time being very, you know, you want to feel all the things they're feeling, you want to believe what they're saying, you want to da da da, and you know, it was just hard because we have such heightened actors, like, you know, Martin Short is just killing it every 5 seconds, and I know Steve Martin is too, but it's like, you know, at first I was just like, and then I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm
Well, and
getting it.
that was kind of my thought in the show when I first started watching it. Was like, these three people are in three separate shows. Like, they're
Yeah,
in three different shows with three different directors, and there's no cohesion. But the way that it
Mhm.
wraps into each
It's now
other,
working. Yeah.
because think about it, like living in it, like you and I both, like anyone who lives in New York City, living in an apartment building, like no one in the building is all the same. Of course, they're not going to mesh.
No.
Like, the people in my building are so fucking different from each other.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's exactly how it would feel when you got together with people in your building, because you don't know them, and like everyone's from a totally separate walk of life from you, and so then that also, to that point of the show, makes sense.
It does. It does. And yeah, I'm interested to see. And also, I think both shows that we're discussing are great examples of good writing,
Oh yeah.
and how during this strike time, that is such a loss for the studios to not have good writers orchestrating such great content, you know, because you have to be an excellent writer to be able to dodge and weave and create believable worlds in both these shows. And create them, you know, we have one that's like a mystery and one that's like a slow unraveling of humanity and humans and what they are and what does that mean, and seeing the ins and out of two worlds that we maybe aren't related to or don't know fully, but we can relate, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's the brilliance of both of them, because like obviously I don't think me and you can relate to, like, maybe we can, we've lived in New York long enough, someone getting murdered in our building, but
Well, I mean, there was a guy
dying.
across the hall from me
Yeah.
who just died, so not murdered, but dead for a couple
Right, sure.
days that we didn't know about. So
Yeah. Yeah, there is that. No, there is that. I'm sure we've been in a situation, and I know I'm sure I have too, because we've lived in so many different buildings where someone probably died while I was here, and some of these.
100%.
But in terms of
In
like
this very
a murder
apartment, like before I
mystery,
lived here, you know.
oh yeah, right. Oh my God, yeah, totally. I mean,
I
and in
think about
terms
that
of
all the time. How many people have died in this apartment before I lived here?
I actually think about that way often than I don't really think I should, but I
Yeah.
do.
Well,
I
but
don't really
like
know why I
like we
do
were
that.
talking about the other night at the
Yes.
Hudson, when we were talking about cats and like seeing people, seeing
Mm-hmm.
dead people and whatever. Like yeah, I mean, there's not someone who died in our respective apartments. I just
100%.
think like the history of New York and the history of some of these buildings have been around far too long for it to statistically get out unscathed, you know?
Truly,
Like a body has been carted out of here.
especially in these pre-war babes,
Oh,
pre-war
the
apartments.
pre-wars? Oh yeah, same.
I mean, that's what we are. I mean, yours is pre-war, I think, right too.
Yeah, it is.
So to those who are not in New York, pre-war means before, what is it, World
World
War
War II.
II? Yeah. So, you know, of course somebody died here. Like there was no, half of these places don't have elevators. I'm sure people were like, get my body out of here. I can't get, you know, like just
Toss
like
it out the
old,
window.
yeah, old fucking buildings, man. And they things have gone down, you
Things have
know?
gone down. Speaking of things that have gone down, I think it would be remiss for us to not speak on, is that the right word to use? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It would I think it's necessary for us to kind of mention two things, one of which might not be on your radar, but it has been on mine. I am wearing my Darren Hayes homosexual
Oh,
shirt today because I believe it's Iran has now officially nationally banned the word homosexuality and gender. And there was a whole burning of like rainbow flags over there and whatnot. So I'm wearing this as a fuck you to them, because like this is, you know, I'm sure the GOP is taking notes and they're like,
sure.
okay, how can we do that? But like, you know,
Oh,
from from a pride perspective, like, yeah, okay, fine. You can ban the words, but that's not going to make us go away. We've been here forever. Alexander the Great whooped your country's ass at one point. So like calm the
truly,
fuck down. And he was gay as shit. So like,
truly.
you know, that. And then also the fires in Hawaii at
Ugh,
Lahaina, which are just, well, I don't know if you've seen any footage of
I
this
have.
from the peoples, but oh my God, like, and there's still tourists going there. There's still tourists like snorkeling when they haven't taken the bodies out of the ocean yet. Like, what in the world? It's just, it's so sad. And there's a whole lot of like doom scenarios happening that people are talking
Sure.
about. right now with all of that and the Gulf Stream and all of those things that are
Yeah.
changing and how fucked we are. But the people of Hawaii, whose TikToks and things online that I have
Yeah.
seen have basically said, if you have a trip here planned, don't come. Like the resources uh
Limited.
are limited enough for the people who have now had their homes and communities completely leveled, that they don't need like rich white people coming in and like vacuuming up all of the food and water that they need to like literally survive right
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
those are just
Do we
the
have a
two things I
website we
want
could
to.
donate? Yeah. Do we have a website anywhere where we could donate something?
So I don't know of one
Let me
specifically,
look.
but I did see a video this morning saying that the Red Cross and FEMA were turning donations away from the local communities, which I think is absolute trash.
Oh,
Um,
what the
that is straight from a local's mouth who was trying to donate and has had reports of neighbors and whatnot that have tried to donate to FEMA and Red Cross locally, and they
Okay.
were turning them away. So I don't know if there's a place
Okay.
to safely and securely donate to the people of Hawaii, but if there is, we'll find it and we'll put it in the comments.
Well, there's the Hawaii Community Foundation. If you
Okay.
guys Google that, Hawaii Community Foundation seems to be like from the source and to the locals. There's also the Maui Food Bank
Okay.
is working as well. And then the third thing I found is the Maui United Way, which is on site, founded in 1945, and they set up the Maui Fire and Disaster Relief donations page. They're processed online and go directly there. So the three that I
Okay,
can
great.
come up with now: Hawaii Community Foundation, the Maui United Way, and Maui Food Bank. Yeah, because I hate this, because every time we have a natural disaster, anything really terrible happens, there's always some weird red tape shit, or like, where is this actually going? And it sucks because the
Yeah.
Red Cross has, to my knowledge, not as totally effed like past. So I don't really understand why they would
I mean,
obstruct them.
it's probably just like you said, it's probably like
Inundated.
red tape
Yeah.
bureaucracy shit.
Yeah, it is red tape
So we'll
bureaucracy.
we'll take those three websites and we'll put them in the
Yeah.
episode notes below if anyone feels the need to click and donate to the peoples of Hawaii. And please cancel your trips if you're going there.
Yeah, please. And actually this is very topical, because I've been working, I'm finishing it up today on a pitch deck with a creator in Hawaii. He's fine, but it's just very strange to have just spoken to someone there and been working closely with someone there, and then like the background is different, like the whole situation is different than when we were talking, especially when you're making something. Now this is a very surface level thing. Obviously the main concern right now is the fact that people have been killed, the fact that people are lost and they're looking for them, the fact that they've lost their homes. But this is just
Yeah.
from what I've experienced so far, just talking to someone there working closely. It's so bizarre to hear what a boom things were happening in terms of cinema and like the beautiful island of Maui and everything that they are doing. And then now the discussion is like, oh man, well, hopefully we'll make this movie, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, obviously with the strike and everything, it wasn't going to happen soon, but it's just very sad because it's like from every facet, it's just dream crushing, it's soul crushing, and it's like human crushing to just hear the devastation. The photographs are awful,
Awful.
awful. And I really thank the people, the indigenous people who live in Hawaii, who are discussing the history loss that they are now
Yes.
experiencing because of colonization and because of continued resources being stripped away and tourism and everything like that. They're losing a lot of their heritage, and then to just lose it in a natural way. Well, truly it's unnatural, it's global warming, but you know what I mean, in a way that is
Yeah.
violent like that.
There was actually something I saw that had to do with the Dole Pineapple Company that it played into this in a major way, which is crazy because it had to do with like overgrown wildlife that then whatever with the power lines. I think I heard somewhere that it was a power line that was down that started the whole thing. But and like my question is, I just talked about this in a podcast interview that I was doing for my book the other day. Why do we still have power lines up? Do we even use them? Like
Yeah, we
everything
use
is
them.
like, get rid of them. Everything is
I
like
know.
digital and like fiber optic shit that's underground. Like, just why do we have them? Like, turn them
You'd
off.
think we would, but if you drive around America for like 3 hours, you'll see them, and it's
No, I
just
know. I mean, they're
we're just
everywhere. I mean,
behind.
my parents, like where they live in Pennsylvania too. I mean, obviously they're the same that they were 30, 40, 50 years ago. I just feel like solar and all like wind or
Wind.
whatever the fuck else, like let's like it's shit or get off the pot time, like and it
Yeah.
has been, but now like this happening to Hawaii is horrible. We're coming up, we're in the middle of wildfire season for California and the Southwest, so like, ooh, let's do something instead of just letting it happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's gotta be something we can do. I mean, I think the problem is too is and this goes into like the whole point, like our society, it seems like we all want to do something, but yet it's like a lot of like, well, that's hard and it's really difficult to get this to happen or get that to happen. But really it's just obstructionist politics as well as organization from a grassroots level not being able to reach the masses.
Yeah. And
Which really
also,
just sucks.
it does suck. And I think it's also on like a cultural social level that we've just been inundated with so many like unprecedented shit for the last 20 years of our lives that like we're just exhausted. Like aliens are real. Cool. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like
We were
we've
saying
talked
that
about
this
this
weekend.
before. Yeah. Like
Yeah, we
are
were
you
like,
gonna are you
oh
gonna
wow.
help pay for shit? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, like unless you're moving in to like cut my rent in half, like go back on your spaceship. I don't give a fuck. Like I
Yeah.
don't care.
Like to boldly go where, wait, can we just like figure out what we're doing here real quick?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah. Like, can we just get healthcare? Like,
women have like rights in those dozens of states that they can't fucking get healthcare in. There's
yeah,
actually, I
it's
can't believe
comical at this point.
there's a couple states where there is literally zero OBGYNs.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, that's cool. But
It's
we're just
going
like,
well. Great.
well, since that's happening, Roe v. Wade is happening, we're having this attack on LGBTQ everything, whether it's banning drag or banning the word homosexual or gay. It's just fucking absurd. Actually, if I would just like to say to anyone listening, if you really think that any book that a child reads that has any gayness in it is grooming, then I hope that you take every single story that you've ever read your kid that has any love story whatsoever in it, because it's always hetero, and tell yourself that's grooming too, because that's ridiculous. Why is it cool for me to watch Beauty and the Beast where she literally falls in love with an animal who turns back into a man? That's cool. That's not grooming. That's not grooming that, this princess wants to do this, or this girl, she gave up everything to be with like this dude on land. Now, like, don't get it twisted. I love all of those stories. I want all those stories out there. My point is, why is it though when it's gay, it's grooming, but when it's just a straight gal and a guy who are underage maybe and are just like, and then kill each other, Romeo and Juliet at the end, that's not indoctrination or
Well,
grooming. That's
because
just cute. And
it's because it's straight people and
because straight
because
people,
God and Jesus and Ronald Reagan.
yeah, rock and roll. So it's like, I just don't understand this whole thing. Like, if you don't like gay people, okay, don't get it, but sure. And you have an issue with it, that's okay, whatever. Your kid is not going to turn gay all of a sudden because they read a book about a gay
No,
story.
I was gay long before I knew how to read anyway. Like
Exactly.
I have distinctive memories about that.
Dude, not gay. I
but
knew I
like
liked boys.
but like
Very
just for the sake of argument, like let's remove gay people in general
sure.
from society and all of the contributions that we have made. We would still be like living in shacks.
Yeah,
Like
facts. That
it
no, it's
makes
just
me
stupid.
laugh all the time. But
It just
anyway,
makes
we don't need to
sense.
harp on it. I just think it's
Mhm.
frustrating and annoying.
Mhm.
And the Iran of it all, of course, is like
Yeah.
it's or Iran, sorry, I'm mispronouncing that, but the Iran of it all is just very frustrating to see in the news, especially at a time like this.
Yeah.
But again, we've had so many things happening that it's kind of like that's why I feel the need to say it out loud, because
We
there's
need
so
to.
many other things that are happening that it might get lost.
No,
Um,
I think we need to, and I think we also need to say that, this is just an example of more religious patriarchal extremism, uh, taking charge of a nation and destroying it from within, culturally, socially. It's literally insane to believe a religion has to take control over a government body that literally I'm just blown away, because especially even when it comes to Christianity in the Bible, does it really ever say you shouldn't be gay? It doesn't say don't lay with an animal or something. It doesn't even go into it. But yet we're following a 2,000-year-old book, and that's supposed to somehow tell us how to govern. Like, it's the same thing as really extremist Christianity. It's the same damn thing. So for those of
oh
you
yeah.
listening who damn and have vitriol towards radical Islam or Muslim or anything like that and how they treat women, please look at your own communities and stop treating us like shit too. Especially and queer folks, because like all of them have a problem with that for whatever reason. Well, we know why. It's run by a lot of closeted men. So, you know, it's a lot of that.
I would also like to say that, like, in the last 7 days, there have been 12 shootings, and none of them have made the news at all. 4 of
Jesus
which
Christ.
were yesterday. So, like, you know, like, again,
It's funny.
it's just us being inundated with so many like things that we're all just like, okay.
Of course, we don't know what to do with like the Hawaii Maui disaster because we're already like, wow, we still haven't banned assault rifles, because you literally don't need them unless you're in the military and or like you're fighting an army by yourself, which by the way, you never will be, my dudes. It's never going to happen for
It's
you.
never gonna
They don't
happen.
care about you enough to come to your house and come after you, and you're not going to be able to defend yourself with one AR thing, which is literally meant to kill people. It's not for hunting. It's not for anything else but that. Why do you have them? I
I
can't.
will never understand. I
I
know.
will never get it.
Yeah, it's just not a thing that is of my comprehension. I can't deal.
So we made speed limits for people. So like everyone's like, well, if we make rules, and the bad guys will act bad and the good guys will follow the rules. I was like, so like what, there was a time when there weren't any speed limits and there were so many accidents. There were no seat belts and no speed limits. Again, those are rules, but they are in for all intents and purposes, if you're not being seen, you cannot do either of those things if you really don't want to, but they have to be in place. It does save lives.
I remember seeing this
Literally.
hilarious video when they first, I think it was in the 70s or 80s, but there was a news segment that was up about the, oh God, was it the first time that they enforced seatbelt wearing or not drinking while driving? Whatever it was, it was in color on TV, and it was in the recent past. And these people were being interviewed, and they were like, I can't believe that this is happening. This is bullshit. And I'm like, not drinking and driving?
You're like so
because
hard for you.
we grew up in a time where like you just didn't do that. Like I watched people that I went to school with be killed because of drunk driving. And so it was just something we grew up with, knowing that that wasn't a thing that you did. But we forget that there was a period of time before those laws were put in place where seatbelts and drinking while you were driving was acceptable.
Literally.
Like,
Literally. So like
and
that's
we
all
would
I'm
never
saying
do
is like
it now.
just try. Like just try, America. Just try to have
Just
some
give it
sort of
a chance. Give me a chance to come through.
All I ever wanted was some gun laws and the chance to not get shot by you.
Yeah, well, and that's
You know what I mean?
that's actually something that my friend that I stayed with in London brought up while I was there. He was like, doesn't it feel great to be in a country where you're not worried about being shot at any given moment? And I was like, oh wow, that's why I don't feel the way that I normally do at home right now. This subconscious like, oh, I'm not gonna get shot today. Great.
And what sucks is like we are a nation that has every capability of fixing that overnight. But there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of countries that are in locations that are in great turmoil where if they tried this, it would be hard to figure out. It would be, but we actually have both the infrastructure. We are not on our land. We are not fighting wars. We're not currently being bombed. Like there's so many ways we could be addressing a lot of these things right now. We act like a first world country, but man, let's really.
But we sure aren't.
We really need to take a good assessment of that and figure that out.
Yeah,
I love America in that I love the idea of you know, democracy and paving our way and our boom of creativity that have come out of us and come out of our collective, but we are slowly sliding into a very strange place. We already were a strange place. We're trying to get better, and now it seems like we're backsliding again. And I just, well, not seems, we are, because we're being hijacked currently by a group of people that are loud and violent and fascist and bigoted.
Yeah. But you know what would make all of this so much better?
Money.
Yes, I would like that too.
What would?
I am privy to some information that I'm going to share here. And like, even though we haven't really gotten officially into like the whole podcast advertising situation yet, I am able to now, I believe, at least at the time that this will go out, say that I have a brand deal right now with Essa Bagel and Magnolia Bakery. And they, as of August 17th, in 3 days from the recording of this podcast, are going to be doing a collaboration in store at Essa Bagel. There's going to be a whole fun little event on the 17th down at the store on 14th and 1st, I think it is. I'm going to try and shoot down there and leave my office so that I can go get some Magnolia Bakery bagel shit. But my friend Erica's family owns Essa Bagel, and I just
Love Erica.
love Erica, and
Kim.
that family is one of my favorites, and their bagels are legit. I mean, I'm friendship aside, those bagels are fucking stellar. So not officially sponsored, but technically sponsored. So everyone go, if you're in New York City, go to Essa Bagel and check out the Magnolia Bakery collaboration that they're doing with the bagels. I don't know what the specifics are. I know I'm getting something in the mail that hasn't gotten here yet, but we will update. We will update as soon as I know.
Please. Yeah, that's incredible. That sounds super exciting. I hate that I'll be booked on something while that's happening.
No, well, it's ongoing. That's just the day that it launches. Okay. So it'll be
I'm
after that as well.
Unfortunately.
Fair.
But we'll find out.
Where are you going, Sarah?
Oh, help. Help. I'm not going to tell you exactly where, because you could find me in 2 seconds, because I think like 10 people live there. But I have a booking. It's in another state. I will be there from, God help the outcast, from about I'm not complaining, because God damn,
get the bag.
Get the bag. But from literally I leave on tomorrow. It's not a long journey, but I leave tomorrow at some point, and then I'm working on the books from the 16th to the 27th.
Jesus Lord.
Yep. I said yes to this booking at the start of the strike, at the start of everything, and I don't regret it at all. I'm very grateful for it, but it is a long time where I won't be in New York, and it's very strange for me,
that is a long time for you.
It is. And we've gone away for like, I've been away for like, a month collective, like a big trips or like work stuff. And this is a work trip, but like usually I'm like flown somewhere far away, and it feels like, okay, I'm at least, flown far away, coming back. This is not that. So it's like, I'm close enough. If I wanted to come back in a day, during the day, I could. I don't know, man. It's that weird feeling of like, I'm so close, but yet so far.
But then also like, why spend the money? Why waste the day off?
They're holding me up in a hotel. Like, it's not like it's like
right. Well, and if it's that close, I'll just come visit you.
Oh my God, you should. We should do it, like, because it's like a small town. There's going to be tons of hiking, which is my jam.
Love.
Look at my social media at Sarah Seeds while this is all going on. There's also stuff happening with the union that I cannot talk about on the podcast, but just check out the
socials.
Yeah, check out all the socials.
It's exciting. I know what it is. And everyone who's following Sarah knows too, because it was announced, I believe, 2 days ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video today.
Amazing. I won't say it either for
you can't do anything.
Whatever.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. But look at it.
Yeah, but I'll be there in the middle of the state. It's a state you're very familiar with, Ed, so I'll be there for a while.
We'll have to talk off camera, because I know you told me, but I can't remember, and I feel like
we were also drinking a lot.
Oh my God, I know, I've broken the sobriety
Aperol
again.
Spritz is girly.
Girl, yikes. I love an Aperol Spritz. I know, like, they're very polarizing. People either really like them or they think they're disgusting. And I don't understand those people, because I was never on board with an Aperol Spritz until I had a good one.
Yeah, once you have one that's good. If you say they suck, I just don't know. I just
don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Like, especially when it's summertime and the living's easy.
And the living is, well, it's not that easy.
That's okay. It's rough. The living's rough. But there's lantern bugs everywhere. But
they're destroying the wine industry.
Yeah, they're destroying the wine industry. I loved. Oh my God! So we had a moment this weekend where.
Oh my God! I know exactly. I was just telling my parents about this last night.
I don't know which one. There were so many moments this weekend.
There were so many. I'm thinking of the one that was at the Hudson.
There's a couple. So at the Hudson, let's just talk about our journey. So we were at the Hudson, which is a great place on the water. I had a friend visiting for the weekend, and it was really fun. And we did so much stuff. And the night before, we were out till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and it was a recovery sort of moment. Yeah, we still went to brunch that morning. We still did. I was like, guys,
you are a better woman than I. I could not have made it through that.
She is a warrior.
Truly.
She's truly a warrior. She really is. And so we went to the Hudson. And while we were there, first off, there were lantern bugs. Like, we had killed so many of the nymphs. Okay, so to be clear, the lantern bugs are a invasive species. Literally, scientists as well as like every organization is like, please kill them.
Please kill them. It's the Japanese spotted lanternfly.
Yeah, they have been taking down not only other species, but destroying industries because of what they do. They're just parasitic. So not far from us. But anyway,
I was gonna say
kill
same.
them. Yeah, same. But not you. So we were trying to kill them. And it was so funny because they just kept coming up to like in the water and like they were right there on the fence. And me and Mike had been stomping then. Ed was like, I'll get it. He just like smacked it, but it was just enough to not get it. And it was like, it was a good moment.
And then there was the one after that was sitting on top of the railing that I went to hit with the menu and I totally missed. And I like karate chopped it with the menu and it just was like,
it was such a great move. Like, we all believed it, you had gotten it, but then it was like there it was far away.
And it was, it was so funny. But I want to hearken to the thing that happened after that, which was like, I don't understand how so many ridiculous funny things happened in a span of like 2 hours, because we weren't really there that long.
No.
But we're sitting there, and so like this restaurant called the Hudson, not sponsored, up in Inwood, is like this beautiful place. It used to be called La Marina and it was a hot mess, but they've redone it and it's absolutely beautiful now. It's right on the Hudson River. You can like sit just feet away from the river and watch the sun go down. It's stunning. And it's not that expensive either. I think we each had like 2 drinks and a meal for like 40 50 bucks. Not too bad. So so anyway, then and I guess an appetizer too, now that I'm thinking about it. Forgot. So I don't know. We were drinking. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So we're sitting there and I see over, Michael's sitting cat a corner to me and Sarah's across from me, and I'm facing downtown. And like the way that the marina works is like the water kind of wraps around the outdoor space that you're sitting in. And I see this like reflection over Mike's shoulder. And for a second I was like, that looked like a skunk. And I was like, no. It's the reflection of the water. It was the reflection of the water. And
you just said, you were like, I think it's a skunk, but
yeah, I was like, I think I just saw a skunk, but maybe I didn't. I was like, there's nothing there. And then maybe 10 minutes later, and I don't know why it took so, maybe 5 minutes. There's just this little chubby little skunk waddling its way directly to me. Like I can see it and it's looking at me. And I'm like, and there's the skunk, we gotta go. And so all of us just like panic jumped up and grabbed all of our shit and we were like, let's go. And then like Mike told the table next to us, which told the table next, and then there was like this domino effect, this wave of people that were just like, we're all getting up, and then immediately after we got up, it was a torrential downpour. It was like skunk and rain. It was so funny.
It was the many plagues. It was like lanternfly, skunk, rain. Oh my!
Right. I was like, oh my god, what is this? Egypt 2000 BC? Like, what's happening?
Biblioteca for sure. Like Bible. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, we were like, it was so funny too, because then I'm like holding this like naked salad and it was just like, I gotta get
oh my god. Which you left behind.
I just was like, it's left behind.
Salad left behind. Yeah, but then
exactly left behind salad.
And then on top of that, it was like we're trapped in the little bar space because it was raining so hard and so fast that like if we would have stood outside for 3 seconds, we would have been drenched.
Oh,
so then we all then decided on getting a beer, which by the way, I'm not a beer drinker, and I don't do it because I have a crippling fear about getting fat from beer. But like I always forget how like refreshing and nice they are.
Yeah,
there ain't nothing like a beer on a hot day, and that's
ain't
just
nothing like a beer on a hot day.
Ain't nothing like a beer on a hot day. Someone like turn that into a song. Ain't nothing like a beer on a hot day.
Like me on a hot day.
But it was like it was a Lagunitas, which like is not, which is also not like a beer that I would normally drink, but that's kind of one of the only things that they had. They're not very beer heavy, and I just was like, god damn, this is like, and now I'm like, fuck, am I gonna start drinking beer again? Like, fuck.
Yeah,
I have clothes I need to fit
There's a lot of great craft breweries.
I know my sister has like this craft beer app that anytime she and her husband go out and they do beer stuff, they'll like track it on the app. And like it's like how many of them can you get through, and then there's like points and rewards and some other shit. I don't know, but it's fun for them and it's a thing that they do. But I'm not a beer person. There's only one other beer that has like me hopping back on the sober train talking about alcohol. with one other beer that sticks out in my head that I remember specifically. I don't remember what it was called, but I had it in Louisville, Kentucky at this bar called the Holy Grail, which is now closed, unfortunately, but it was an old
Wow.
church. And
Work.
the congregation part of it, like in the downstairs, was the restaurant. And then the choir loft upstairs, which was just called the choir loft, was this like community seating bar. And
Mhm.
where the organ was where the bar was. And they still had like the
Amazing.
religious iconography up, and it was just fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I had this beer that was like a lager that was aged in bourbon barrels in California. And it was like 14, I think it was like 14 or 17% alcohol, which is insane.
Damn.
And
Was it
I
like an
had like,
IPA?
I don't remember,
Because
but
those are high usually. That's
yeah, I don't think so. I think it was
Hmm.
a stout that was
Scout.
that was aged in bourbon barrels, and I had two of them, and I was like
Wow.
shit faced. It was
Damn,
crazy.
Doc.
I loved it.
Well, beer will get you. I was when I was oh God, when I was I think it was like 10 years ago maybe. And I went on a road trip with my family. We flew out to Vegas, rented a car, and then drove inward to like all the big moments, like what is it, we went to the we went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, saw the Tetons, Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon, all that cool shit, Santa Fe. But one of the parts was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is one of the most beautiful towns I've ever seen. It just Gorgina in the mountains, elevated. See, that's when you forget, when it's elevated and you have a drink.
Oh my
She
God.
gets you. It
Oh my
hits
God.
different.
Altitude drunk is so different.
It's very different. So me and my dad, the rest of the peeps, like my bro, my ex and my mom, are just like back at the cabins, like in their cool cabins, like up in the like a cabin community, are like in their little cute cabs. And me and my dad are like, we're gonna go try the local craft brewery. Let's go. So and me and my dad, we have great conversation, but we don't usually get super emotional or anything. Well, we
I
go
feel
to
like this is a cliffhanger.
yeah, well, we go to this brewery, and it's like it's the highest, one of the highest points in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And I of course pick like a dum dum the and probably haven't eaten enough, who knows, the IPA, which is like I don't know what percent alcohol by volume, but let's just say in the altitude is a lot, so I
Right. It
have
was
two of
7%,
those.
but then with the alcohol, it's 42.
Yeah. And I proceed to have one with my dad, and he has one. Then we're on our second, and I'm already like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I feel just like, what is going on in here? So like, I remember I brought my phone into the bathroom and took like a selfie, like by the mirror, for no reason. I don't think it meant any, like, it wasn't a great bathroom. Like, why was I doing that? You know what I mean? Like, it was just like decision making was getting weird. And then it turned into my dad being like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, you're proud of me. Like, I don't even know where it came from, because it was just a very nice conversation like we usually have. But for some reason, the altitude mixed with the drunkenness, mixed with like on this trip, I was like, my dad is proud of
It's
me.
proud of me.
And I just started like weeping. And
Oh
so
my
then I get
God.
back to the cabins, and my mom's like, what is going on? And I was just like, Dad's proud of me. Like, and I'm like, what is, and I'm not a crier. I'm not a belligerent person. I'm usually like the one like, wow, you had that much, Sarah. You seem so, and everyone else is like, ah. And I'm like, yes, that is how much I have, but I was losing it. I
Yeah.
literally had to take a bath and just be like,
Oh
drink
my
water.
God. That
But
altitude
it'll
shit'll
get
get you
you.
every time. Also, cooking at altitude is different.
Oh, it's different. Yeah, the boiling point is different. The way things work are
Yeah.
different.
That I learned that the hard way when I was working out in well, first of all, when I was working out in Denver, that was the first time
Love
I tried to
Denver.
make rice, and oh my God, I burned the shit out of it. And then I know I didn't actually learn how to successfully make rice until like last year. Like, don't make fun of
Oh
me.
my God.
I didn't learn how to successfully boil an egg until I was 28. Like, they cut the home ec program at my high school right as I got there. So I
Boo boo.
learned
The home
nothing.
ec is not the excuse. Yeah,
It's the
but you didn't
excuse
learn
that
how to
I
do
am
it.
using.
Yeah, I'm using that school didn't teach me how to do that. It's like,
School
okay.
didn't teach me how to do it. So
So
that's,
therefore,
anytime I get to shit on my tiny little Catholic school that like closed because they were paying off, sex offender lawsuits
great.
and then burnt down, anytime I get to shit on them, I will.
Dude,
So it's their fault I don't know how to cook. I do now, but
it is.
but
It is.
Denver, I like cooking in Denver was fucked up. And then when I was in Reno, cooking in Reno was fucked up. And so we just ended up going out all the time because I was like, I don't know, the thing I can make here is coffee.
The coffee still works.
The
Yeah,
coffee
no, but
works.
it is interesting because then once you learn how to do it, or like it's just a little bit, you just get taken off guard by it because you just don't realize altitude will get you. You
Yeah.
know, is it the same effect? Does it do it also in planes, or is that just
That's a
because
good question. No, because I think the
oxygen's being
cabin is
fed?
pressurized. I think
Yeah, I
because
feel
the
like it
cabin's
doesn't make a
pressurized,
difference.
it doesn't do it.
Wow,
Huh.
I've always thought about that. Just now, no, I didn't. I just thought about it now.
I've always thought about it. No, I didn't. Just
No,
now.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I had it just out of myself.
Yeah, no, I
No.
mean, I guess maybe that's a thing. I'm guessing because it's pressurized, it
Mhm.
doesn't, but like, I don't know.
Yeah. We could just Google this, but
I
I'm
don't feel
going
like
to.
it. Okay, go
Okay,
for
well,
it.
I'm
You
going
all
to.
right? I'll talk, you Google.
You talk about it. I think you're right though. I think you know, do you get drunk on a plane is probably not it.
I
Yeah.
really think it's because it's pressurized. Unlike the Ocean Gate
There you go.
submersible.
Yeah, it does not. No, you don't get drunk on a plane. So I'm sure it has to do with the.
It's probably, yeah, because it's pressurized. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool,
Glad we
cool. So it's
solved that
actually like safe.
mystery. Glad we solved that mystery, which was not a mystery.
Not really. Nope.
Not
There was a
really
thing
at all.
online that I got found in 2 seconds. Yeah,
Correct.
no.
Yes.
No, but I think there's something, to talk about like how it is right now. It does feel like there's just so much happening. Like
Yeah.
we said.
That we should
Uh
just go to altitude and get drunk.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, self-medicate.
No, I
Everyone
mean, between the strike,
self-medicate.
which, updates for the strike, it's the WGA and the NPTV are sitting at the
I saw that.
table.
Oh my God, that's right. Oh my God, we
Um,
should have talked about this during the first part. We were
it's
like, what's
fine. It
going
doesn't
on?
matter. We're gonna get there. We
We
got
got
there.
there. We got there. Yeah, I saw that. So what was the chronology of this happening? Because I saw it was the AMPTP with the WGA first,
Yeah.
and then they were like, no, never mind. And then
Well,
what
then
happened?
they went for maybe a day and it didn't really work, and it was kind of like, and there was a little animosity. It felt like, especially like from the writers, it seemed they were like, well, that was okay. We came in again, and it just seemed like you're not doing it. And then the MPTV came back again and was like, okay, let's talk. So if anything, guys, it's just a great sign that regardless, the fact that they're even sitting at the table discussing is a big deal. And I wonder what's going to happen with us next in terms of SAG-AFTRA. I have no idea. I know,
wanted. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I just know that because we're both striking, and there's such a power in both of us doing it at the same time. I'm just curious what the MPTP's thinking, other than finding a deal that we all will want, which is the equitable good thing to do, or is it to try to divide and conquer? I'm just curious if that's going to be the tactic of them.
Well, I think I had sent this to you, but I don't remember if I did. But also, you were having a social media blackout day yesterday, so you might not have seen this. But the thing that I had sent to you about how all of the major network streamers have been investing in AI generative software.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like how do you feel like that plays into this?
I think that they think that they can replace writers with AI. I think they think that they can try to pay someone $900K to be an AI person, or whatever they wanted to do. Just pay one person to do the job of like 70. I think maybe they're trying it while also working alongside us in some ways. I think really the thing is, it's not going to be as good. It's just not going to be as good.
I mean, of course not.
So it's not going to work out. It's just not going to work out for them.
AI can't write trauma.
No.
That's our job.
No, that's our job. Also, everything that AI is doing, and again, people don't really connect this. I feel it's not just it's not generating its own thoughts and ideas. It's taking from the pool of people and then generating this thought. It's a collective thing. So we're extremely unpredictable. We are very individualistic, especially in this society. And we also don't do what you would technically expect mathematically on paper. A lot of times our decision making is not based on logic.
Yeah.
So I just don't. And also, like, you can tell when worse writers try to write something. When we've had writer strikes in the past where they didn't have the AI to replace them, they had just other writers that would be willing to, be scabs or work as non-union writers. And the quality extremely dropped a number of shows. It's very noticeable in the early 2000s or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So They can try. I don't know. I think a lot of that is leaked so we get scared.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't really take it much other than to say, we do know what's happening privately. We do know a lot about it. That's why we've asked for all the things that we've asked for. So if they sit down and respect what we want, which is what has to happen before you go back to work, which will happen, then I'm not afraid of any of that, because I think we'll be working in tandem and we're keeping it in a cage, so to speak, the AI, while working with it. It's got limitations. It has things it can't steal. So to be honest, like a lot of that, I feel like is kind of out there. So I'll get freaked out, and I'm not, because you guys can't do jack shit until we say yes. So
Boom.
that's how I feel. I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah, and I think the also the collective thought of people who are not in the industry is that we don't want anything to do with AI. And I don't think that that's true. I
No.
think we need to recognize it as a useful tool that can be utilized
Yes.
in a lot of really great ways.
Yeah.
It then just becomes like, you know, where's the line?
Yeah, it just can't be untethered, right?
Right.
We have to have parameters around something that is potentially very, and has been very dangerous, but also is actually helpful somewhat to the collective.
Right.
So, and also we're not idiots. We're not like, we can't stop it. We can only make sure that it is utilized in a way that keeps our autonomy. Again, the phrase of SAG-AFTRA is like, easy to work with, harder to fight. I mean, like, we will work with what's happening, but it has to be not in any loss of our autonomy, or not getting granted from us for them to use our likeness, or we're not paid for our likeness. So there is so many ways to do this that are helpful. And we have them laid out. And I can talk, I don't need to get specific because everything's out there, but like, we've released all the things that we asked and how we asked, and there are ways to make this work very easily. So if they just would do it, we would be back to work. So also, there's the whole thing about the interim agreement, which we talked to about last time in pretty extent, but just to say again, if let's just say we make a movie that's using the interim agreement, and say a big streamer such as like Apple Plus or Disney Plus wants to stream it and they want it really badly, just like any SAG contracts that work, it's all the way through distribution. They'll have to do what we're asking for. And then they'll see that it works. And then that's our backdoor way of getting in that way. So no matter what, they're going to have to work with us, no matter what.
Yeah. And we love a backdoor.
We love a backdoor.
We love a backdoor. Yeah.
I was at the backdoor.
Oh my God. Yes. I love that place.
I loved it so much. Everyone was drinking out of mugs. It was super cute.
Yeah.
The one thing
they did that because during Prohibition they had to hide alcohol, and so they just said they were drinking tea or coffee, and they would put all the alcohol in mugs.
I love that so much, because now it's so obvious it's not tea or coffee. Because people are like, I
didn't see it's chamomile. I promise.
Well, it was like stop number 6 on that one night. So
oh my God, I'm so glad. I love you, but I'm so glad I did not go, because Jesus, I would have tapped out in like an hour.
Yeah, well, no, there was a point where we got to, so we did that, and that was really cool, but it was really funny because we were like, no one is dancing. Everyone's just like, and we were like, we got to get this thing going down. There's music. So I started like really getting dancing. Alicia jumps up on the table, and I'm like, gosh, no, wait a minute. I think we're too far for this. Anyway, it was really fun. But then we were like, our last stop was going to be a rooftop, because that's what she really wanted to do. So I was going to take her to like one that I knew we could get in, get an amazing view, get out, won't cost like $300 to go in, 235th. So we were waiting in line. The line was moving pretty good, but it was like what you just said. About halfway through, she was like, guys, I don't want to go up there.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't care. I don't want to do it. And me and Mike were like, well, it's moving really fast, and she's like, no, seriously, I think we're good. I was like, you know what?
Put my ass in an Uber.
You're right. Because as soon as we got an Uber, I didn't go to sleep, but like, I think she fell asleep. Mike might have, I don't remember, but it was just really funny. I was like, yeah, I think that was the time.
That was the move. Yeah. Because otherwise she would have sat down up there and fallen asleep, and that would be a whole different conversation.
I don't want to torture my friend when she visits New York.
Well, I hope she had a good time, because I had a good time with her. She's cool.
I had a great time, and she had a great time. And, she's back in PA now with the baby. So,
with the baba.
The bebe.
We love.
We love.
Well, Sarah
This was like a
Seeds.
fun little catch-up moment. I
This
liked
was a
it.
fun little catch-up moment, and there's so many peaks and valleys to this episode too.
I know we talked about injustice, fires,
Getting
beers
drunk at
and
altitude.
drunken altitude. Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a sign that we are doing what we do, staying the course. Life is crazy and
Life is
varied.
crazy.
I'm going away for a booking for this, and then I have another one after, but I'll be in town for this one, thank God. But what kills me is I just got a text from my partner, and he's flying right now to one thing, and then he just got word that somebody has COVID somewhere else, where he has to go to
Oh
possibly Europe
God.
now.
Here we
And I'm
go
like, what is
again.
happening? Everything is don't want to end on this, but it's a good thing, and then it's a bad thing. So a film
Start
I
with the
was in.
bad thing. Start with the bad thing.
Oh, well, okay. I kind of wanted to go. All right, fine, that's fine. We'll go back. So the film festival it's good and bad. The film festival, my movie that I was the lead in got into one of them, the Chain Film Festival. The award ceremony was last night, and that was going to be the one time where I was going to get dressed up yesterday, and go out. And then we get an email in the morning that they canceled it due to COVID cases.
Wah, wah,
Here we are
wah.
again. So many people have been getting it.
Yeah, I mean, shit's getting canceled again. My dad had a gig canceled in Pennsylvania because of it. Like, there's a lot of people out on Broadway right now because of it. I've had a couple friends contact me to be like, hey, we can't hang out because I have COVID again. And I'm just kind of like, while I'm continuing my job excursion situation, I'm just like, I cannot do another December 2021 situation. Even though I'm thankful for it because it forced me out of bartending. It literally was the moment where like I was going to a bartending event or an event that I was bartending at.
Yeah.
And I am standing outside the door of the place waiting for everyone to show up. Because I was captain, I was the first person there, I was bartending.
Right.
And the woman who was organizing the event came up to me. She's like, hi, are you Edward? I was like, yeah. She's like, I'm so sorry. We just found out the host took a COVID test and he's tested positive. So the entire party is canceled. Because it was a holiday party in someone's apartment, like down in Chelsea. And so I had to call everyone, cancel everyone, tell them to turn around, take everything back to where they came from, like, because like all the alcohol that we're bringing. And I just was so mad. We did end up getting paid for that, but I didn't get any tips from that. It was like half the amount that I was expected to get. And I just remember sitting on the train. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I need something that is a little bit more, or a little less wishy-washy.
Right.
And so like, I just can't. I personally don't want to go through that again. And I know no one else wants to go through that ever again.
No.
But here we are with another variant that's like taking shit out and getting shit canceled. And it's like,
that's what I mean. It's just unfortunate. It's like, is there a booster now that I can get? Like, why can't I get a single? I'm
and
too
you know
young.
what?
So
I haven't even been following because there's too much shit going on that I'm like, I don't know.
Like, and I don't know how, we've managed to not get it, because knock on wood, because we've been out there.
Yeah.
I know I've been out there and taking the train, doing all the things. So it's just so concerning.
It is. And it makes me feel like, because I mean, you can have it without symptoms. And so then it makes me feel like, have I had it recently and not known it? And that's why I don't have it. Because I'm on the train almost every day with work. And like, I'm certainly a little bit more out and about now than I was a couple months ago. So like, I just feel like it's just a fucking matter of time, man. Like, there's only so much you can do.
Right. It's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to live our lives. I mean, and that's the thing. And that's why I'm being very smart about saying yes to certain bookings and knowing that although, I will be locked in, it's just like a week and a half chunk, and then I'm going to be okay, because we need to buffer ourselves because shit is hitting the fan, it feels like, again. So
fuck. Well, I have a call with my recruiter today at 4 to talk about buffers.
Right. Buffer that shit out, babes.
Lord God almighty.
And actually, I was on site for a big brand that I helped oversee. It was one day, it was very long, but hey, baby. And one of the actresses on site with me was talking about financial literacy, and I brought up our podcast and how we discuss all the time. And she was saying this, how artists and anyone really, and women and queer folks are often never taught how to balance a thing. It's like what guys do at golf. They're like, don't worry, man, I'll give you my guy. Sign up for this, and my money guy will make it happen. It's like we don't sometimes have those outlets, and we're not
the mob.
Well, like, no, I'm just saying, like, my dad golfing, like, a lot of business stuff happens when you're just playing golf. Am I on the golf course with him? No.
No.
Am I like, no, you know what I mean? Like, I just know that happens. And it's like, there's certain, like, and I'm not saying that's where it all happens, but it's like, it needs to be more accessible to everyone to like have opportunities. And the only way to do that though, is to be that person and ask for opportunities and ask for financial literacy. There's programs. I think the SAG Foundation is doing one. I think like there's a lot of programs for artists coming out right now. If you guys Google them, because of the strike, where you can get financial literacy as an artist, because we are definitely not taught that.
We were definitely not taught that. And I know Actors Equity offers something similar to that as well. I don't know the specifics of it, but the Entertainment Fund, the Entertainment Community Fund, former Actors Fund, RAP,
Yes, that's right.
offers free stuff like that, with as well as career counseling and everything else. So if you feel, I've used them before, they've saved my ass so many times, like mental health wise, money wise, they've paid my rent before. Like
That's amazing.
It's a great foundation. I love them.
I like hearing that because I've never utilized them, but I've only heard good things. Like, they're not one of those companies where you're like, what do they do? You know,
right. Well, and they do like career counseling if you want to get out of the entertainment industry or you want to restructure stuff. So that's good. And so because
what an industry we're in, they're like, how to get out.
Like, how this is how you leave. Are you okay? No, we'll help you get out. Just like get out. But I mean, they have seminars for stuff like that, so I'm pretty sure that they definitely have some kind of financial literacy thing like that too, because we're not taught that. And you know, I think you said it really, what it comes down to as far as getting money in the door is asking for it.
Yep.
And not directly asking for it maybe, but like asking for the opportunities that lead to it.
And act like you know what you're you know, it's like, I don't like the fake it till you make it thing, but it is that just learn, be as literate as you can.
Yes.
And you don't just everyone fails at first or has to stumble to learn. So you have to try. When I did fundraising for the first time for a series, did I think it was going to be successful? No, but it was like, there was a lot of stumbling parts and things where I had to like figure it out. And, you know, until you do it, you know, you're not going to have anything. So.
Yeah. Well, and also I want to talk about the fake it till you make it thing too. Cause like really like I feel ways about this. And it's because for one, it really kind of ignites the whole imposter syndrome thing when we're like, oh, I'm just faking it till I'm making it, indicating that you don't know what you're doing and you're just making it up as you go. And like, maybe that's true in the beginning, but you definitely have to get to a point where you're recognizing that you're not faking it anymore. You have become the person that knows what the fuck they're doing. You know, it's the same thing. And like, to that point, it's cheapening yourself. It's like by saying like, oh, I'm just faking it, like it's cheapening your intelligence and what you're capable of. And to that same point, when I hear people being like, oh, I'm just living the dream, when they're like talking about absolutely not living the dream, it cheapens that. And I hate when people say that. And you know, that's across all industries. I'm working in finance right now, and some guy was like, how you doing, man? Living the dream? And I'm like, no, I'm not here. And like at auditions and shit, people were doing that all the time. It's like, hey, how you doing? Oh, living the dream. Like, stop it. All of those things are cheapening what you're trying to do. It's saying to yourself that I'm not worth anything. I'm never going to get past this certain point, and I'm just going to like make fun of the fact that I'm not as successful as I wish that I was. Like, let's collectively agree to stop doing that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the flip side of that though, it's like the subtle art of not giving a shit. It's not that you shouldn't give a shit. It's just that you should not be bogged down by extraneous shit. I think the reverse of like fake it till you make it is like, everyone started out somewhere. No one knew anything when they started. That's okay, right? It's like,
and that ties into asking for it.
Ask everything.
Ask for it.
Question.
Question. Yeah, and it really is just kind of like, you know, I guess when I was 19 and moved here, I was faking it. I had no fucking idea what I was doing. But now at 30, I am absolutely confident that I know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm secure enough in that if something comes along that I don't know what I'm doing, I will happily ask. I will happily say, hey, I'm not really that familiar with this. Can you help me?
Yep. And I think too, and then this is like a weird another thing. I know we're tangenting, but it's like another thing that has to do with this, is that sometimes though you're in rooms where people are paid exorbitant amounts of money and they're the ones supposedly in charge, but they have no fucking idea what they're doing. They could do it so much better. That drives me up the wall too, because how the fuck it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that feels like you are faking it. You guys are just
idiots. But I think that comes down to what we just said, asking for
Right.
it and knowing the
Yeah.
right people to ask.
Yep.
And so,
So
let's do
advocate for
more
yourself.
of that.
Yeah, advocate for yourself constantly, educate yourself, find mentors, ask questions,
And don't cheapen yourself.
and don't stop yourself. Stop stopping yourself. Stop
stopping yourself.
Stop stopping yourself.
Is that episode title? Stop stopping yourself.
Stopping yourself. That's it. That's the end. Wow, we figured out right at the end. We figured it out.
I love it. Okay, great. Well,
great.
this has been delightful.
Oh my
this
God.
has been
And next time you
unhinged
see
and
me-
hilarious.
Yeah, next time you see me, I'll be in another state and I'll be like, help.
Well, if it's the one that you're talking about, which we'll offline, I could just come. I can just come.
I would love for you to do that. I think I need you.
Okay. I think I need you too.
You're so
I am
rich.
payment.